This 1937 Bugatti 57 SC was being auctioned, with a starting price of 30 million euros. In the end, a wealthy man bought it for 41 million euros. But the news soon reached the ears of the car thief brothers, Andrew and Gary. They waited along the road the rich man would take. When they spotted the transport truck, they began their move. Gary drove his BMW M3, made a sharp drift turn, and sped away, while the older brother Andrew tied a rope around his ankle. As the truck drew closer, he leaped forward. Luckily, he managed to grab the side railing. Just then, Gary arrived in time, allowing Andrew to land safely on the truck's hood. With Gary's help, Andrew climbed up to the top of the truck. Then Gary drove his car to the front of the truck to create a distraction. The rich man immediately opened fire. While he was changing magazines, Gary quickly climbed onto the roof of the truck. He cut the brake line at the connection point, then worked with Andrew to open the cargo doors. The two brothers cut the car's straps, jumped into the Bugatti, and drove it off the truck. The transport truck lost control and flipped over, while the brothers sped away in the Bugatti. The next day, the brothers met with a buyer to make the deal. But the buyer suddenly backed out, because he'd learned the real owner of the car was a local mob boss named Gia. Everyone in town feared him. He planned to kidnap the brothers and force them to apologize. The brothers were knocked unconscious, and when they woke up, they were tied to a platform. Gia shot the buyer dead right in front of them, then took them to his garage. Inside were rows of priceless vintage cars.
Is that the Alfa Romeo 158?
Yes. It was driven by Juan Manuel Fangio.
This car finished first in the 1950 Monte Carlo Grand Prix. Corvette C1? 64 Shelby Cobra? You got an Austin Healey.
Only then did they realize who they were really dealing with. But Gia brought them there for one reason: to use their blood to apologize to his beloved car. Panicked, the brothers begged for mercy. In desperation, Gary mentioned a name: Max. He was Gia's rival and owned a 1962 Ferrari 250 GTO. The brothers claimed they were already planning to steal it and could gift it to Gia to make up for their mistake. After some thought, Gia gave them 1 week to pull it off. With time running out, Andrew brought in his girlfriend Fanny and later recruited a skilled female thief named Devon. When Devon heard they needed a demolition expert, she took them to her friend, a professional bomb technician. To prove his skill, Devon locked a bag of bread in a safe and challenged him to open it without damaging the bread. For a professional, that was easy. The chubby expert quickly set up the explosives and hid behind a wall.
Sweet.
Since they had no time to waste, the brothers let him join the team. When the brothers returned home, they were surprised to find someone inside. The man said he was Gia's cousin. Gia had sent him to help them get in touch with Max, but in reality, he was there to secretly keep an eye on them. Under his lead, the brothers met one of Max's men, Kuhn. Kuhn said that if they wanted to meet Max, they first had to prove their skills. He then took them to an airport and ordered them to stop a plane that was about to take off. The brothers floored the gas pedal and burst onto the runway. Police cars immediately began to chase them. Andrew handled the pursuit, using his expert driving skills to toy with the police. While Gary charged straight toward the plane. The pilot tried to take off, but Gary was already closing in. He opened the convertible top of his car, and the plane's propeller hit it, disabling takeoff. The mission was a success. Kuhn told them that Max would now definitely want to meet them, because the plane they stopped belonged to him. Nervous but curious, the group arrived at Max's mansion. They found him hammering nails into a barrel. Inside was the same pilot from before. Fearing for their lives, Gary hurried to explain that they were professional car thieves, hoping to work with him to steal more classic cars.
Listen to for me.
You know, my brother really handles the negotiation.
There's nothing to negotiate. See, I don't care about reputation or how good you think you are. I care about one thing: trust. There are not many people in this town you can trust. What makes you think you're one of them?
We're not from this town.
Neither am I.
After testing them, Max decided to trust them. As they were about to leave, Gia's cousin asked to see Max's garage. Max agreed generously. When the doors opened, the entire room was filled with red Ferraris, and among them, the crown jewel, the 1962 Ferrari 250 GTO. Andrew secretly memorized the garage code. On the way back, tension exploded between them. Gia's cousin demanded to know their full plan, but the brothers refused to tell him. They parted on bad terms. The next day, Andrew's girlfriend was kidnapped by Gia. He wanted to know every detail of their plan and the names of everyone involved. Helpless, Andrew agreed to cooperate. The next day, they met on a mountain.
So,
Let's see how you're gonna do this.
The best way to steal from the thief is to lure him away from the stash.
First, they would steal a bulldozer, then several police cars and uniforms to impersonate officers. They would have a fake informant tell Max that the police were coming for him. Then the bulldozer would smash through the gate, forcing Max, who was involved in illegal business, to flee. Once he left, the Ferrari GTO would be theirs. Gia was thrilled and insisted on joining the operation the next day. But when the day came, he waited at the meeting point for hours, only for Interpol to show up instead.
The best way to steal from a thief is to lure him away from the stash.
Realizing he'd been tricked, Gia fought back fiercely and escaped. Meanwhile, Andrew and his crew never went for the police cars. They drove a large bus straight to Gia's mansion, blew open the garage door, and stole all of his vintage cars. When Gia heard what happened, he immediately sent his men to track down his vehicles. Soon he got word that his car convoy was heading to the port. He raced there and found the brothers. In rage, he stepped on the gas, trying to ram them, but their prearranged bus crashed into him first. Finally, the brothers loaded all the cars onto the ship. Max appeared on deck. It turned out the entire plan had been orchestrated by the brothers all along. Meanwhile, Devin used the stolen garage code to sneak into Max's house and steal the legendary Ferrari 250 GTO.